Hello and welcome back to another episode of In the Trenches. This is not just a regular old episode, guys. This is the 25th episode, a milestone. So to commemorate that, we thought we would do a Q&A session where Troy fires off questions that you all have sent in to learn a little bit about me and my extensive background in the industry. I want to remind y'all, though, if you're liking the content, please like, share, and subscribe. It really helps. So, without any further ado, Troy, let's jump into it.
Well, you ready to start this one?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So
I'm nervous.
What was this? You got questions from colleagues. You got questions from friends. Online.
We just the other day we asked Instagram to send. I don't go on there a lot, but like, hey, send some questions our way.
Yeah.
Because for me, it feels like, and we've talked about it, like it feels. And even guests have said it, like after the end of the episode, they're like, oh man, I wish I would have asked you more questions.
Every time. About 80% of the time, that's what happens.
Yeah, they're like, I want to learn more about you. And so, I guess in honor of the milestone that I'm hearing 25 episodes, every 25th episode as you're starting out, is a
What do they
milestone.
call that? The silver anniversary?
Is it?
It's 25 years, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Gold is 50.
Yeah.
Yes. This
So,
is silver.
for this one, we felt let's throw it back on me and get to know me in ways that are genuine and questions that people want to know. So I don't, I don't know what we're going to be, asked. So I'm a little nervous, but I like it.
We'll get into it. And so nobody else is here with us.
Yeah, this is you and me.
I'm running the board. So I'm just making sure that all the cameras and everything's recording. And I think
we don't have that one.
Do we need it though? No,
not for this.
So
let's let it rip.
Yeah. So I guess let's get started with the first question.
Okay.
Where did the idea of starting a podcast come from? I know you were hesitant about getting in front of the camera. So what pushed you over the edge to make this all happen?
That's a good one. Good start. Some of this gets, put out in the episodes, but for me, it's a multitude of things. I'm feeling like as a guy, as a filmmaker or a photographer who's done a lot, we're in a current where social media and, being more present online is important. And I've been feeling that happening, but also with all of that, I feel like I've lost connection to a lot of my inner circle, and it's kind of like I see them on a job or something and it's fun. But for me, I think I wanted to spotlight, maybe it was my inner circle, but it was also an industry that I love so much. I do. I love this business. I've been doing it since 17 years old. I've been full circle, probably run around the washer 3 or 4 circles now, and I know a lot of interesting people, and it hasn't been an easy ride on my side, and I know it hasn't been for a lot of the people I work with. And in talking and getting coffee with friends and stuff, and they're like, dude, we should do this more often. And every time I leave a little meeting, a little coffee date with a friend or whatever, a colleague, it's like, man, I feel so nourished, I guess. And I like talking shop. I like helping, teaching. Yeah. I'm a big advocate of teaching. So if you take all of these things, like I said, a multitude of things, the podcast made sense. Do you know what I mean? Because these stories that I have, these experiences that I have, they're mine. They're not going away.
No.
They're true. They're real. And it's like letting it out and kind of like in some way, I said it the other day on Instagram, with one of our guests talked about, oh, it was Christian talking about legacy.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm 48 years old, you know, I have 2 young kids, and I know I've helped inspire young filmmakers, and it is what fuels me.
Yeah. It fills your cup, and it can potentially fill other people's cups.
Yes, it pays it forward.
Yes.
So it just made perfect sense to me that a podcast was the platform. Now, getting over the
cameras of it, yes.
That thing, everyone has said at 25 episodes, you're going to get better. And I do. I feel a lot better. I'm not nervous about it.
Well, I can tell you do handle it a lot better. The first time we were just cussing up a storm, like, what this won't work. And then it's just, you got to ease into it. You got to practice into it.
And, you know, I will say this, though. One of my things as a filmmaker and a photographer, I like to be planned out enough to do the job the way I say it. So I'm a very planned out or perfectionist oriented creative person. I know it might not see it in my work, but that's intentional.
Yeah.
I keep saying we're building the plane midair with this podcast. And I even said it, you know, the other day. It was like, we're flying now. We have wings on this podcast, and like, wow, we're fueled and we're doing it. It's so rewarding to accept that side of me and enjoy building the plane midair rather than saying, no, Troy, this has to be flawless and perfect. Everything needs to be before we do episode 1. No, we just jumped in it and we're like, well, and I haven't really gotten my usual kind of frustrated self. Is kind of like, oh, that's cool. We learned not to do that. Let's move forward. Yep. And so I've been surprising myself with that. So I don't know if that's a long-winded answer. I've been told by artists that I'm an interesting person. You know, a lot of these things have filtered into my mind. It's Cuisinarted into this blender that now I think this podcast is ready to, fly above the clouds, really.
Well, this next question is a fun one that I want to know.
Oh, God.
So what was the first artist you ever worked for? And how old were you? Also, was it a disaster, or did it open up more opportunities for you?
First artist, my God. How deep do we want to go?
Deep cuts.
Deep. This is deep.
We want the very first.
Okay. Bionic Jive out of Arizona. 2 rappers and a rock band. They were I shouldn't say that. They were just explosively rock, very Limp Bizkit at that time, but yet extremely hip hop. They were so hardcore on both sides. They were just infectious. Anyway, I hit the streets in Arizona, and I faked it till I made it, to be honest with you. I knew nothing. I knew just enough to be dangerous. And when I say that, I mean I didn't know how to load cameras, film cameras.
Yeah.
I didn't know you needed a crew. So I would convince this band, but this one in particular, because they were so good and so great, and I was friends with them, that each of them should, pony up $1,000 of their own money. So whatever that was, $5,000 or something. And we went off and made a video. That video was not just an average video because it was shot on film. We had attached it to one of my, God, how old was that? Yeah, we built the sets out of scrap.
Jeez.
And it was really cool because we had tapped into something in that video where the singer does these fast rappy things, and I just had a kid who would be a lookalike of him and would just be mimicking him as he was doing the crip walk and like dancing, but he was being moved by their music in a band's rehearsal space. Wow. Anyway, the band it helped get the band signed to I think it was like the Farmhouse label, which was Interscope Records, which then I even helped align them with Paul Rosenberg to get them on Up in Smoke or Anger Management with Eminem. It was really cool. Jeez. So I even had my hand in aligning things early on, and it was shot on film, 16 mil. And can I say this? Shout out to the great Tommy Labuda, the music video rep, because he discovered me from that video and signed me from that video.
From that first video.
Bionic Jive Pump.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Bionic Jive Pump. And it got me signed.
That's
to
incredible.
Tommy Labuda, and he is by far the largest and most, I don't know, sought after music video rep in the business.
Yeah.
So if you need,
Jeez, well,
that video went a long way for me.
Yeah, that kind of leads into our next question. Not many people in Nashville know your directing roots beyond the last 16 years you've spent in Music City. Take us for a ride of where your directing career began to where it is now, with road stops along the way. So go from the end of Bionic Jive to kind of like the genres of music that you went through and where you lived, and then just give us the
I'll go through it.
The lowdown.
So I took Bionic Jive, and I was I felt like I was on top of the world. I was a director at that point when I had directed one video.
Yeah.
I was also interning at that time at a video company that did corporate videos.
Yeah.
But little did they know that I used their phone bill because it wasn't cell phone era. I used their phone bill to call long distance and to get in touch with my mentor, Kevin Kerslick. Kevin Kerslick, my conversation that happened with him was kind of a chance conversation. You know, he kind of randomly picked up the phone from his assistant. I rattled off something. He told me to come to LA. I went. I had to get. LA's a brutal town, and when you just when I moved there, I had a Jeep and no roof, no doors.
Yeah.
I had Tommy's hot dogs where I can get a chili dog for like $1.20 or so. But it was not the easiest route. I found like I would live in the Jeep behind Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, which was on Gower and Sunset, and they would give me food on a at the end of the night, a little styrofoam thing. They would just give me some food, but like 2 or 3 in the morning, multiple times, I got yanked out of the Jeep and beat up and all that by like third string gangs and shit. So it was kind of a lonely time before I got the apartment because you didn't really sleep at night. You know what I mean? You kind of
with one eye open.
You walk around, you just do your thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I speed it forward, but I was working an internet marketing job, flash forward wherever, got an apartment. I was working an internet marketing job, and Tommy Labuda, who I got repped from that video, said, "Yo, are you sitting down?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you know where I'm at. Just plugging movies. Have you seen Superman? It's amazing. Oh yeah, fuck,
Yeah.
spamming movies at that time." And he goes, "Well, you booked Bone Thugs and Harmony." Whoa. And I was like, whoa. And it hit me because it was like, there it is, your first $250,000 video, multi-platinum. I hit log out, boom, and I was out. I was gone. I never looked back, never got my check. I did that, a lot of stuff while I was in film school at Loyola Marymount, to be honest with you. I got waived out of, I wanted to go to film school, let me rephrase that, because I wanted to be a kid. Yeah. It was getting kind of gnarly.
Yeah, to say the least.
And I needed to justify how can I take advantage of my youth. I mean, I was jumping the walls at 24-hour fitness to shower.
Jeez, yeah.
And to get protein shakes or to make my meal. It was that. So college for a moment was like, let me slow this down.
Yeah.
Like, let me be a kid. But it didn't. It actually allowed me the time to go, and the excuse to have a safe place, and I can just go hit the streets, and we did. And I befriended at college a guy named Frank Boren. Frank Boren is a fantastic director of in his own right currently, and owns Under Wonder Entertainment, Under Wonder Films, that does crazy work. We met at film school and just became best friends. We bonded on everything, and we started Smith and Bourne, which was a directing team, and we were a powerhouse to be reckoned with. We were to get signed. How about this? We would meet at his house, and we had different tiers of, let's just call them 3 tiers: tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, of how we were going to package our demo reel to get it in the hands of executive producers to sign us as directors at companies.
Yeah.
Okay. Remember, this is this isn't the internet, this isn't digital. Okay. So we had tier 1, which was like, that company, we want that we want to be with those directors, let's give them the cooler with the ice, the Coronas, and the reel. The lowest tier was a birthday present. Wrapped like a birthday present. So when they open it, it was like, yay, guess what you're going to do? It's like celebrating, you're going to watch us.
Yeah.
Anyway, tier 1 gifts would not. We got called back within getting out of the parking lot. Yo, come on back. We'd be watching the reels with them in the thing. It hit.
Yeah.
We would pretend we were squatters. We were kids. We were young. Sitting outside ready to go have a $400 sushi lunch and to get courted. We'd be sitting down, just squatting down by a door, whatever. They would walk by us and not think twice, and then we'd just stand up. Hey, what's up, man? Smith and Bourne. Anyway, crazy fun stories. We traveled the world. We did all kinds of crazy things. Interest change and styles change when you get success. You start to say, oh, you know what, I want to go this way, and he's like, I want to go this way, and he wanted to write films and get in more into film, and I wanted it more into photo, into short form. So we parted ways, and not long afterwards or so, I moved to Nashville. Yeah, I saw the decline of the music video industry early on in LA when I watched my paychecks, my budgets go from $600,000, $300,000, $200,000, $125,000, $90,000. Like, whoa, wait! I want that $500. Yeah, you're right, and it wasn't happening. But in Nashville, there was still a window open. CDs were still being bought to go to the lake, and Walmart was still, it was a different culture than LA. They were trying to be ahead. They were already on iPods or whatever it was. So it was already digital. So I moved here and got right in with Jason Aldean. Yep. And then I could, that's a long-winded question, whoever asked
exactly.
That. But that's kind of a quick one.
Yeah, but I guess sum it up in that 30-year span, 35-year span. You started out in hip hop, right? Oh, sure. You went from hip hop and then transitioned early 2000s to pop punk, and then
screamo, kind of like that story of the year, a little heavier. Yeah. Then it was Shine Down, Three Doors, a little more modern rock, Breaking Ben. Yeah. And then it was country.
Yeah. In country.
Yeah, I've had my hands on in a good many different genres. Yeah. I've enjoyed them all. Yeah. They're all different. They all are very different. Let's just get back on the questions.
All right, switching it up here. What were some of the biggest, most memorable mistakes that gave you a certain insight moving forward? Give us some of those cherished wisdom moments. So memorable.
So what are some memorable mistakes?
Memorable mistakes.
Thinking off the spot. I mean, I'm sure some will come to play as I answer one, but the one that there's limitless. Let me just figure this out. You can add some because you know I've learned a lot on our jobs, and I talk to you about executions and things, but I did just say this. Okay, it's flowing. It's flowing. One time I took my name off of a video.
Why?
Because they wanted to change the edit. And I never worked with that record label again. So what I've now learned in my process to get to navigate that, and the reason I said to take my name off is ego. First and foremost, when you're young, you think the world owes you.
Yep.
But the ownership of the art or of the piece should never go away. And so, as you know from our jobs, I am very intensely hands-on on the front end of the edit. And then so-called as a director's cut, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes to the label. And they choose to do what they need to do with it based off of what they want. Now I see clearly, like they have reasons, they have things. We'll voice our opinion, but we don't need to voice our opinion because you saw the director's cut. So anything after this that they choose to do, they can choose to be grown-ups and look at the director's cut and compare and go, I like this one on me, but I do like this one on you.
Yeah.
And we can go from there. And it's been able to get me past the emotional phase of living in the notes part of it. It doesn't mean I'm out of it. It just now means my editor can address the elephant that's not in the room. They're not there, so I don't need to be, I come in, but that was one thing. I mean, there are endless amount of lessons I've learned. One thing that comes to mind is the importance of communication on the front end financially. That can be contracts, that can be whatever. But
I'm going to stop you right there because this is actually another question that we had coming up.
Okay.
And so someone asked, how important is it for creatives to have conversations about transparency of rates, licensing, etc., while battling the machine of labels management within the music industry? So it's pretty much the same thing of what you were going to explain.
Okay, well, did I finish all my lessons learned? Not all my lessons, maybe. I guess I'm good.
But that was good on the lessons.
Okay, I think, okay. So, what was it?
So how important is it to be transparent with like the finances and the contracts and things like that?
Love it. Extremely. It's not a conversation and a topic none of us creatives enjoy having.
No.
We enjoy just being led by that carrot and we, that's fine. We just, head down, be creative. But I find more DMs coming to me personally in this topic of, hey, I feel like I'm being screwed out of, or hey, this just came in and it's making me nervous. Hey, what do I do when this is happening? And it's really just everyone's jumping in, and probably everyone has the right intentions.
Yes.
No one's trying to rip you off. They're looking for a deal. You're trying to get in the door. Nobody wants to say, because it's going to cost this, or we don't have that. It dissolves.
Yeah.
How often does it really dissolve? You kind of just fucking work it out.
Yeah.
That was a learned thing. Go back one. But it's very important it's very important to create in clear water.
Yes.
Do you want to swim in a crystal beautiful ocean so you can see all the things, beauty and not, coming at you? Or do you want to be murky and enjoy the murkiness of the oh God,
Yeah.
it was slimy. What's that? You know what I mean? Like, that's not comfy.
Yeah,
That's not creative.
It could be fun, but when you come out and you have leeches all over you, it's like,
Yeah, you're
okay,
not, and
didn't get to see that.
You're not thinking the best. You're not in that groove.
No.
So, yes.
No, I love what you said about everything needs to be transparent and clear before you get into the water and do what you came to do. So it's like you can go in with a clear mind. That's not in the back of your. Once you get your business straight, the creative can flourish.
Yeah, and as long as you can talk with confidence and intelligence as to why things cost what they cost, the receiving end understands. I mean, you know, us from producing all of our jobs. I mean, okay, we don't have that. Okay, can you cut back something? Yes, if we cut back something, it's going to probably be here.
Yeah.
You okay with that? Yes. Okay. And so I think a lot of young minds are just intimidated by that. And I think they should be more intimidated when they're done with the job, crushed it, over-delivered maybe, and then they're getting screwed.
Yeah.
How does that feel? And sometimes it has to happen.
Yeah.
To get to this question that was asked by someone. It's like, so I hope that helps.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely does. On to you now. Do you have any interest in directing movies? Getting into the film long form world?
Sweet. That's cool. Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I started off not because I wanted to be a student of the craft. I didn't want to get in over my head.
Yeah.
I will tell a quick story though, but like what has taken the wind out of my sail is back at the Smith and Boren days. We got attached to a movie that took some good time to develop, and it took us out of the game for a bit.
Yeah.
And then it never got developed. And then months later, while you're in it trying to just take meetings, but you almost feel like you're coming from the music video side of things. It was cool to do. So you were like, yeah, this is working. And it never happened. It never materialized into something. And then by that time, coincidentally, Napster was around that time, 2005.
Yeah.
So the music video landscape was different. Whoa. And so now you got Napster. We took a little hiatus trying to do this movie, and treatments or budgets that are coming in for you to solicitations that are coming in are like fragments of what you were normally getting. So that plays into what I'm saying, and that is it intimidated me.
Yeah.
Because all this time, all this effort, all these connections, all of this work in my body of work is aligning for it, is looking great. Let's do it. And it didn't happen. So it tainted me, and it made me dive head first into the short form.
Yeah.
Commercials, photography, music videos. I'm like, okay, that's something I know. I can do that. So moving forward now, and I always said I was learning the craft. I wanted to be ready to emotively know the lensing, how to keep a consistent lensing, talk to some of the biggest DPs and be able to go eye to eye, toe to toe with them and talk, how are we going to make this awesome, this scene or this moment? So I can do that now. There's no question I can do that. Could I have done that? I felt like I would have been maybe, over my head. All that to be said, it's starting to interest me more than ever now that I feel like I want to make something real and emotive, and where before maybe I was just going to make Transformers or something. You know what I mean? something blah. And now I'm going to make something really interesting. So my ears perk up when I hear like Edgar and I talk scripts or something. I would definitely like to say that before this cruise over, I've done a movie.
Yeah.
I will put that out there. So I don't know if the script has to fall in my lap or what. But I would
Right.
like to say, I mean, as a filmmaker, I would like to do a movie.
Yeah. Solid.
Or a TV episode.
Or TV episode. Really anything longer than 30 minutes,
Yeah,
you know?
right, yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'm taking a look at these plaques back here. And this is a Morgan Wallen related question.
Okay, I was waiting for Morgan
So,
them to give a Morgan.
you have taken all of Morgan Wallen's photo album covers. Can you talk about you and Morgan's process and how you guys collaborate? Do any of the albums stand out to you?
Okay. So each album has been slightly different. Ultimately, I will say how I've gotten hired by each one has been slightly different. All very personal. But the one, and I'll get into each one, but the really cool thing is I know that I was hired for each album specifically because Morgan wants me to do me. That I know. He wants me to be stoked, so therefore he can be stoked. You know what I mean by that? Like he's
He's going to feed off of
yeah
where you find.
yes
Yeah, that's
he's
great.
he's not looking for he wants direction. So on the first album it was If I Know Me. Yep. No, if I don't have that. I mean, If I Know Me, that was his first. And it was I was hired by the record label Lloyd, who hired me, and I think they were enjoying some of the Yellow Wolf love story content at that time, which was gritty, kind of raw and dangerous kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they wanted that. That's where Morgan was at. So that's what that album was. It was just me going to a location in Nashville for a couple hours that I knew I could get a bunch of looks. But really, it's about Morgan and me hanging out. We just walk around and talk shop, and it would be cool. And we just do that, and then I just say, "Hey, stand there real quick," and we just fall in line. That photo shoot was cool also because I get nervous going into photo shoots where it's not a lot of crew and it's a bright sunny day. I know that sounds like a weird fear, but I like more moody photos and more overcast and more inky blacks and stuff like that. Anyway, I say that all to be said, that day was perfect. So I had an assistant, I had the stuff ready to go, but it was one of those just super simple, just move around and snap away. Now on Dangerous, that came somewhere mid-pandemic, if I recall, because we had just moved into this house from Green Hills, and I think I shared this on the Bobby cast. Probably the second lowest point in my life was relatively right when I got that phone call from Tracker saying, "Hey, we would love you to be available to shoot in like a day."
Yeah.
You produced, right? You did
I
it.
produced that.
It was the next day or so, and it was really special because for me it was a low point in my life with the pandemic. I thought my career was over. It's all I knew. My identity was it.
Yeah.
What am I gonna have to change? Okay, we'd moved. Everything was. I felt so vulnerable, and for me to get that call that afternoon, for him to say it like he said, "Look, I want to be honest with you. We did do a photo shoot before before this, but Morgan specifically, he just didn't feel it was right."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he wanted you. He wanted you and him to be very just covert and candid, and it was everything to me at that time, man.
Dude, that's every photographer's dream.
Yeah.
Like,
to be hired for something specific, and not that I wished that they did a shoot and it didn't go well, but it only adds to the validity that they specifically want something that you do.
yes.
That to me is going to be very hard to beat in this question as we move into one thing at a time that we're currently in.
Yep.
I'm saving some room up there, Morgan, if you can help me with a placard. This one was really special too, because now we're on Dangerous. I got the phone call from Tracker. This was a text message from Morgan while I was eating a hamburger at Culver's. He was like, yo, do you want to...
Just casual.
Yeah, just casual. He's like, how does 3 for 3 sound? I'm like, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And it wasn't like 2 weeks later, we were up shooting that at his grandma's farm, or where he grew up in East Tennessee, in like Sneedville, which was really fun. I'll tell you a funny story. We were up there for Thanksgiving or a swim meet or something. I forget why we were at my in-laws in Knoxville. But I looked at the GPS to see how far the location was.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's like 50 minutes, 45 minutes. Hey, I'm going to go check out this house. And I called Big Loud, the record label, and told them I was going to go check it out.
Yeah.
Send out the signal. And I get there, and it's kind of late afternoon. And I got pinged an address, which didn't look like a spot. I'm like, and I'm literally just peeking around everywhere going,
this is East Tennessee, boy.
This is East. I'm waiting for a shotgun to come through the thing. I mean, I'm going through barns. And I'm like, I'm talking to Tori. I'm like, I don't know if this is right. And so basically, I had this whole thing mapped out in my mind.
Yeah.
And then when I got there to the address, on the shoot day, a week or so later, it wasn't the location.
Oh my God, really? What?
I was up the street.
Yeah.
I was up the street at a house. I'm like, yeah, we'll put them through the windows. It'll look really cool.
That wasn't the house.
Nope. And I actually fought. I actually fought to shoot at that house, even on our shoot. You know how I would.
Yeah.
But we still have access. Can we get that? Yeah. Let's go up there. Didn't have time. They're all extremely special, to have all of them. Mm-hmm. But does one stand out more than the other? Well, like I said, one thing at a time. Morgan, in the way he reached out, and he also says, well, if it ain't broke, we don't fix it. And then just what it meant to me on Dangerous at that time kind of trumps everything, really.
Yeah. Yeah, that's special.
Yeah.
It is. So that leads into another question of, what is your favorite photo that you've ever taken?
Ever?
Yeah.
All right.
And if you don't have the absolute singular favorite, top 3.
All right. Oh, okay. I would say, and I think about this, up until maybe 2 weeks ago, I would say my favorite photo was Yellow Wolf's Waffle House.
I love that one.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love that photo. Just for what it meant and everything. But, as of recently, there's a photo that actually nobody has ever seen. No one has ever seen of Morgan, and it's a portrait that I shot on the One Thing at a Time album. And it was the last shot. And it was the last shot, but he was walking back to his car, his camp, Yeah. And I was actually starting to walk back to mine. And the sun was going down. I mean, it was blue hour. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I know I got the shots. I know I did. They got what I know we got. You know how I get.
Uh-huh.
I had something in my mind. Even though it's as simple as a portrait, I wanted it. And it was at the barn that I shot a lot at. It was just, the light was really good. And I just said, Morgan, hey, I just ran up to him, and I asked him, can we go shoot one more shot? Nobody needs to be there, He's like, yeah, sure. And we did this shot, and it was by the back. We had to walk all the way back over to the barn again. And I just said, real quick, I just walked through this tunnel and land at me, and just kind of think of what this land and what this house means to you, and just look at me. And I got to my position just like it would be like a video shoot, you know, like you just stage the shot. Here it is. It's all ready to go. It's just Natty. There wasn't anybody around, and he just walks up and just looks up, and I snap like one. I think there's only 1, 2, and it's this photo. It's a very it's humbling, and I love his expression because it's not the average, but it's also the way the inkiness and the shadows and the way the location. I nailed it. And I was so stoked. I mean, driving 4 hours home, that photo was on my mind.
Yep. It's spectacular. Well,
nobody's seen it.
Can't wait to see it. Yeah, right?
Hey!
So flipping the script, what is a photo of someone else's that you wish you were the one that took?
Oh, shoot. What?
Yeah, so what is someone else's photo? Do you like anybody else's photo that you admire, that you wish that you're the one that took? You're like, man, I wish that was me that got to take that iconic photo.
I mean, the one that crosses my mind quick is a live photo. It's Danny Clint shot it of Eddie Vedder, and it's the photo where he's at Fenway Park and he's just mid-air, legs forward, jumping off of the mic. You've got all the lights, you got the thing, and it's what makes you want to retire from shooting concerts.
That's a shot that can never happen again. That was the only moment it happened. Yes.
You know, I mean, it's like, wow. Other than that, I would have to say it could be another Danny Clinch photo, and it could be the infamous Tupac, but I'm a massive fan of fine art photography, as I try to let people know.
Yeah.
So that's a hard one to answer for me. It's almost like, what was the first image that came to my mind when you said that?
Yep.
Was that Eddie Vedder photo?
Yep. That makes sense. So you went to film school. Do you think higher education for film is still relevant? Do you think people should still go to secondary education for film? Or do you think
YouTube it?
YouTube, yeah, the whole YouTube schooling now. What do you think is best? What do you think is necessary?
That's a good question. Times are different for sure than when I went to film school.
Yeah.
We were shooting 16 millimeter film. So that tells you what we were doing. I have to think about what I pulled out of film school. What I pulled out of film school at that time was, remember, a humongous bond with Frank Smith and Bourne, which we were on top of the world for about 3 years during pop punk 2002 to 5, whatever it was.
Yep.
I met one of my best friends, Scott Cunningham, DP extraordinaire, but when I knew him, he was a producer. Went to LMU, my school. Dave Myers, who everybody in the music world or in pop culture should know.
Yeah.
An amazing director. He went to Loyola Marymount. Someone who I don't think gets his flowers enough is Brian Beletic, Bletic, an amazing commercial director. He went there. I mean, I say groundbreaking. The one where, I forget the shoes that were like all tying its laces, a big Adidas thing. It was all like from planes and things. I mean, crazy mind. My point to saying these people and such is there's a networking thing that happened very much for me at that time.
Yeah.
Sans that. No phone. So no, I would have to say, if you were to say, yo, okay, Spidey, would you have Ryder go to film school? Okay. Now we can answer it. No, I wouldn't. No. I have spoken to film schools. I'm not going to mention their names. And I have spoken to 700 kids plus. And it was eye-opening how many of those kids, and this is many years back, that did not have anything to show for it leaving film school.
No.
Though they gripped. And they have an understanding of this. Well, come intern for me for a week and I'll give you an understanding of set etiquette or whatever it is. You know what I mean? But like, even when I went to Loyola Marymount Film School, I went a number of schools. I said, I want to direct music videos. I'm here in LA to direct music videos. Will you let me? Most of them were no.
Yeah.
LMU was. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go. So, no, I would not suggest it with the internet and with how people learn and can do it themselves, and also knowing the business.
Yes.
This is the advice I want people to understand, is I'm giving you advice from the business chair, from not some outside, any film's gonna. No one gives it. No one cares. You see, so it's more about what these episodes are teaching, are helping, hopefully, or opening the eyes of people. Like you can be a painter and learn from that and go, wow, okay, how did he do that from nothing? Okay, we have things at our disposal now, real champion people. You can learn from them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then what did I learn in film school? I learned technique. That you learn on your own anyway.
Exactly.
So now you have access to people, podcasts and filmmakers and master classes, YouTubes from how to get into the business from people who have done it. So I think, I got waived out of 13 classes.
To do music videos.
Because I already knew it.
Oh,
I'd already done Bone. I'd already done these videos.
Yeah, they're just give this guy a pass.
Here you go. Here's exhibit. I need a junior thesis. Here you go. Here's exhibit. Get your walk on. All right. What's next?
Yeah.
I mean, I was turning in pro jobs.
Yeah.
And so I just got waived out of classes. Why did I get waived out of classes? Because I was already ahead of it.
Yeah, you didn't have to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that hopefully, if you have that gusto. That's what I got to say.
Yeah.
If you need to be at first, I don't need a trainer at the gym. I don't need a trainer at the gym 7 days a week, 1 day a week. I don't need it. I know my way. I've been there. I'm self-motivated. I will get it in.
Yeah.
Not everybody's like that. So if you aren't like that, but still want to be fit and get it, you might need a trainer.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. You have to know yourself. You know what I mean? You can't just sit there and go, okay, that is me. I'm going to go fight the world. I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you don't have those resources. So you have to take a look in and see that. I do believe there's something in that answer that should help. I do.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on
This is fun.
Yeah, this is great. I love this. I don't even know how long we've been going for.
I know the
Like,
counter
what
isn't
does
on.
it say over there? What does it say in the record?
39.
39 on like the roadcaster right there, the audio board. That'll have that's our true time right there, buddy.
Okay. Wow, we're rolling.
Well, let's get into it. So this was an Instagram question, Instagram DM. So Spidey, 5 things a new photo and video person should be focused on in today's music landscape. So 5 things.
Hey, don't shoot me if we go 7. All right, 5 things.
Yeah.
5 things that a photo video person should be thinking about. Okay. Treat yourself as a business. Number 1, you are a business. Allocate your business in insurance, an LLC, and start charging accordingly. Start looking at contract. Start treating yourself as I am supplying this service, and you are getting this service, and I'm getting this in return. Is there in a world of content is where I'm going with it. That person is more or less suggesting content, right?
It seems like yes.
Content video.
Yes.
It's never ending. Meaning there's always a need for that footage. So have all your ducks in order with what you're shooting and what they're going to be used for. That's one. Just treat yourself as a business. 2, know exactly what your goal is.
Yeah.
So often I feel, oh gosh, this is a big question.
I mean, you can just paraphrase like that.
Yeah.
The business, and then like just knowing your goal.
Knowing what you want to do, because it's too
like,
easy.
Yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory.
It's very easy to get sidetracked.
Yes.
And that I feel is like, just what Julie said, be intentional. I mean, there it is. Be intentional with where you're going.
There you go.
Don't yeah. It's basically, don't be so consumed with having a style right away. And I think a lot of people are just, it's learn coming. If you're asking that question, don't be afraid to learn, to sponge, ask questions. Don't think you know it if you don't.
Yeah.
Be a rad hang. That's it.
So many people on this podcast had said that.
Yes. You won't be called back unless you are a vibe.
Yeah.
And that vibe is still you.
Yeah.
It's still you.
You don't have to change.
No, but find the essence of it. Like, you got to know. I mean, dude, you know how many times, because I'm a chatty. And, and I'm in rooms sometimes and I'm feeling, I'm going, I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, shut up. You're that person. Shut up. And I'm like, so that, man, I just feel like I got caught off guard on this one for a second.
Yeah. Condensing that into like five things,
is a big one. Like, I mean, I can probably go on and on. What would you say? Do you have anything that comes to mind?
I mean, what you said is very important about just taking it from a business standpoint, because we are, even though we are very creative and that's kind of the essence of what we do, it's not sustainable unless you take it from a business mindset. Yeah. And it's like, I found that very difficult to learn as a young guy who's just like, I don't give a shit about finances right now. Let me just make my art. And then I realized that you can only make the art that you want to when the finances are okay. So it's like, it's the balance of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be about gear. It's just a tool.
No.
But have the right gear to do the job.
Got that right. Yeah.
Have the right. So back to being intentional, back to knowing what you want. Trust me, my Canon 5D R5 has never been switched over to video.
Never.
But not by me.
Never. No.
It's a photo camera. I use it for photo. Yep. So I'm not, if I was to say I'm going to go shoot this, maybe I would do some Sony. I don't know. But like, I know what I use my gear for. Be prepared for everything. Be prepared. Be prepared. Don't get sucked into when you're on the road. Don't get sucked into that lifestyle. Don't. It's not your party.
Yeah.
You're not there to party. You're not. You're not the vibe. A lot of young guys come in and they immerse themselves into that thing. No. Stay back. You got a job to do. Now, whether that's not the time to document or do it because it's a party, then get back and go to work or go to bed and get up and go to work.
Yeah.
So have a routine. I can go on and on. This question can go on for days with me.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go into could be a fun one, could be a traumatic experience relived for you. But how far have you gone to get a shot that either you or the client wanted? How far did you go to get that shot?
I was okay. Yeah, this would be the most extreme one, I think. I was doing a collab with Harley Davidson and Yellow Wolf for his Devil's Pass bike journey, where they collect. Starts off on 50 bikes and they go ride all day to a town, play a show that night, stay the night, ride. Now there's 80 people. Now there's 100 people. But by the time there's 5 shows, there's 300 bikes rolling through, and it's a really cool idea. And and this was the first attempt of it, and Harley wanted to be involved with it. But with that many bikes and not knowing how to, because we couldn't control the show, right? I mean, these were bikes.
Oh no, they're rowdy.
They're going where they're going.
Yeah.
So, and I'm shooting moving shots from a pass van or something. Oh, probably a minivan. Sides open, bags open, different things. But like after, I don't know, an hour or whatever, it wasn't it. It wasn't going to get inside enough at all. So I, at one point, got on the back of a Harley, rode backwards for about 100 at speeds of 125 miles per hour with an easy rig. As I'm pressed against the back plate, the guy's driving this hog, and I'm leaning over that thing, shooting bikes, and I'm easy rigging it, so I'm up in their face.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm teetering over and doing things.
Are you pulling your own focus?
I'm doing everything.
Jeez.
I'm not just looking at this thing. I'm not even looking at the fact that this is gnarly.
Yeah.
But it was the up close and personal that I wanted. It wasn't until the ride home that we were making back from Chattanooga back to Nashville that we were driving, and I was leaning over, and now I'm straddling obviously this bike that's going very fast, and it's a hog, right? And I'm shooting, and I'm looking at my monitor. And as I'm shooting, I'm feeling my legs and everything vibrate, and
tremors.
Something is happening. And I look at my monitor, and I'm like, "Oh we're in the other lane. All the bikes are in this lane, and there's the double, and I'm in this, and it's to the point where I'm like, oh God, like that, right? Yeah. And as I'm looking at the monitor, I'm shooting crazy footage, right? And it goes wham back in, shink. And just as we do that, whoom, an 18-wheeler goes down that road.
Oh my, jeez,
bro.
And this biker was just some random dude.
Yeah, I didn't know him.
I
know him. He was one of the more skilled riders. But I think we got caught in a situation we couldn't get in because of the bikes.
Right.
We're already out, and here comes this. So it became. I cried. I cried that night in the hotel. I was like, what?
That was a near-death experience.
What are you doing?
Just to get the shot.
To get the shot.
And you got the shot, right? You didn't double punch or nothing?
No. We got it.
All right, cool. Have you ever worked with an artist that you didn't like, or let's just rephrase that. Have you ever worked with an artist that you didn't get along with? You can say no.
There was an artist named Queen Pen. She was the one of the artists in No Diggity, Boys and Boys to Men. I don't know, but she sang that No Diggity song, whatever. She was in that, or I think. And anyway, yeah, she threw a script in my face.
Oh.
And some words. She just didn't like. I don't think she liked her makeup or something, and it had everything to do with me.
Yeah, she's probably on a podcast right now saying the same thing just about you. Like, I hated that guy, man.
I mean, I had Lazy Bone. He pulled a gun on me.
Wow. For fun or like?
For fun, I think. Because he heard I trained to be a Navy SEAL, so he was like, "Yo, what's up? What's up?" Pulls that out. I'm like, "What?" But I mean, those hip hop. Yeah. Those hip hop ones are pretty gnarly.
Yeah. All right, let's do this one. You've asked your guests.
Hey, these are good questions.
Yeah. People are good at asking questions nowadays. You've asked your guests whether reps are important. What do you say about that personally? And coming from a world of reps where you used to be, you're now flying solo. So it's like, where do you stand now? Because you ask the guests on your show if having representation is a beneficial thing or if they like it. So what do you think about having representation as an artist?
If you're lucky enough to get a rep who believes in you, who wants to co-sign you, who wants to be responsible for breaking you, yes. I had the best rep in the business with Tommy Labuda, and I don't think I couldn't have gotten where I got through all of that, whether it was our joint efforts on the streets, and then he would hit it from the label standpoint. If you're lucky enough to find that, but what you don't want is you don't want to be at a company where you're not their focus because they have their breadwinners, or maybe your style doesn't fit with ultimately what their clients.
Yeah.
You really want to do your homework to make you don't just want to be satisfied to say I'm repped.
Yeah.
No. Go ask an artist, a music artist nowadays if you're just simply stoked to be a signed artist.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean anything. It means in many ways you already have someone in your pockets.
Yeah.
So if they're going to actively push and get and be an advocate for you, and so I would interview my rep, meaning before you sign on, what do they love about you? What do they know about you? Yes, it's if you can have that relationship, go with it.
Cool. Yeah. So what is your photo process? And more specifically, what is your photo editing process? So how do you go about your photography, essentially?
These are broad. Okay. Photo. How do I do photo? Okay. A lot of my work is based heavily on location. I think that stems from being a director and creating worlds in cinema, in motion.
Yeah.
So, and I like my photos to have depth and story to it. So story can come from a lot of things, but location can give you the depth and color. So location plays heavy into what I'm about to shoot. I will, I freak out most often until I've seen a location, as you can, you know what I mean? So I do also come from the film side of things. So I believe in the 7 Ps, the proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. So in other words, I want to have just enough gear. If I want sun and it's overcast, I can create it. If it's sunny and I want overcast, I can create that. I prefer natural light. I prefer to discover the moment.
Yeah.
And that means it's more memorable to the artist. That doesn't mean I'm not hanging out talking and partly not listening to them, or I'm throwing out a conversation to get them distracted while my mind is thinking blah, 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 blah. Okay. But I also, with that preparation and knowing that location, have been there once before. So now I know a routine or where I'm going. That to be said, we can jump back to like maybe some Yellow Wolf stuff where many of the photos are moments because we went into Waffle House, moments because he was getting a Red Bull and we passed into this American flag, moments as we were, you know what I mean? There's just these moments. So there's really two styles to me. You know, I get hired to go create moments or to go find those really low print photos, you know, where you don't have a big team. But then there's the ones where they need to pay and have it executed, and they need a large sum of photos. So those shoots usually end up having to have a location where you can get a multitude of things.
Yep.
Going through my process as I'm shooting, this is nothing really that interesting. I already know kind of what I want to do. I'm looking for shadows. I'm looking for depth. I'm looking for all those things, you know.
Yeah.
In post, I don't like a lot of post editing as far as retouching and fixing and doing. I do like color. Color is something that I feel is unique to a photographer that they can control and make different from someone else who might have shot the same location.
Yep.
So color is very important. It also is one of my favorite processes in film. When we go through the video process, I love color correction. Yeah. Is that enough?
What kind of colors do you lean towards?
Ooh. I lean more, good question. I lean towards more cooler side of things. Why, you ask? Because there's more color separation in when it's cooler. When it's warmer, you're going into skin tones that are warm, lips that are red, and all these things. So it feels blended. But once you start to kind of mix in your highlights, mids, and or shadows, you find the ingredient, you're pulling out all the separation of color, because blue is inherently not your skin.
Yeah.
So that's where I've always led towards that. And someone who taught me that is one of the most amazing colorists in the business. Probably has more watched YouTube clips than Mr. Beast because of his videos, and that's David Hussey from at Company 3. I've been with him since the beginning, and I shared many memories. So coloring with Dave Hussey, love you, bud. Those are some of the best sessions I've ever had in my life with Dave Hussey.
All right, so we're gonna have one more question before we start we have 3 more wrap-up questions after that. But you hear all the time about transitioning from photo to film, but you went from film to photo. Do you feel like that was a step backwards? And when did that transition happen, when you got into photography?
Really? That's funny, because I do get told that, like, yo, is it weird that you took a step back? I'm like, what do you mean? Step back? Well, yeah, I never heard directors like taking more of an active role in photo than they do directing. Directing got so big that I felt like I was losing some of the tangible process to the craft, to crafting it with my hands. It would just get big. It just got like, blue, and then purple. It's like, no, I said blue. I wanted to cut out. I wanted 2 sides to my creative, and I don't believe I can. I don't believe my motion work can really change from what it is. Meaning I like produced elements, not I like having the right utensils and the right tools to do the job. But I wanted to be creative more often, and directing, as you know, you can't direct every day.
No.
You can't direct every month, to be honest with you, sometimes. Photo, I can do every day if I want, every other day. So that was extremely important to me, to put that feather in the cap. Added to which, it was a feather in the cap too, intentional to that. As I felt like I was watching the times happen, I'm starting to see recaps and people doing this and that. And I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I was just like, I wanted to have more brushes for people to hire me for.
Yeah.
Bored of the question? I might have gone off track.
So it was about how you transitioned from film to photo, and it just where that, I guess, if you can, the one instance where you're like, I want to take photos, or the first time you picked up a camera and you're like a photo camera and you're like, I'm going to do this. because you were in the directing thing, and it just. I like how you said that. You're like, I want blue, and then it goes down the line, and it's purple, and you're like, yeah.
It's I just wanted the art to be pure again, and I wanted to have a creative outlet that didn't have all the bells and whistles.
Yep.
It was something that I can just do one-on-one. So I had to develop that style.
That's photography is you direct to art.
Yeah.
Whereas directing there is 7 to 8 middlemen there in that where it doesn't go from your brain and then it's boop right there. It's more,
That's a good way to phrase
cool,
it, direct to art. And that's what it felt like. I could take pictures, come home, play with them, send it to the artist, and then be like, whoa, this is, and it was like, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I don't have to wait for an editor or this, or, you know what I mean? It was just, it allowed me to be creative.
It's cool.
More often.
I dig that. All right. Legend has it that you own a pair of Eminem's pants. I don't know what question to ask about that, but I do have questions. Is the rumor true?
Do I have Eminem's?
Do you have Eminem's sweatpants?
I do.
How?
Those sweatpants on that photo over there, the baby blue Jordan velours. So it was for that video. I think, and
what video was it?
It was for 8 Mile with D12, Obi Trice rap name, and he, what was it? He was a little under the weather from the night before for the VMAs, and what was it, man? Oh yeah, it was just a crazy video shoot, and I went back to say goodbye at the trailer, and he had already left, and the sweats were sitting there,
just all folded up, all nice, shining a little bit, all
just shoved in a corner. No, just sitting there, and I'm like, I'm gonna grab those.
That's so fun.
So I have them.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to wear them on an episode or something.
Yes.
I was a little fanboy for a moment, but
that's so
whatever.
Funny. So this will be episode 25 for In the Trenches podcast. Are there any guests who we've had on that have surprised you, or you've had takeaways from, just I guess notable moments in the past 24 episodes before this one?
Hey, it's crazy that it's 25. Congratulations to you. Which is cool, by the way. I think that's awesome. All of our guests have surprised me, and in some way they've been in my inner circle of my Rolodex, I guess. And in some way, there's some folks more than others I've learned about, like Katie.
Yeah.
Let's take Katie Robbins. I work with her all the time, and I did not know that she was a freaking legend. I mean, I was really taken back by all that she has done in her story. And so now when I see her, I'm just a lot different. I'm like, whoa, hey, what's up, girl? Like, you do you need me to roll out the red carpet for you? Thailand was special too. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed his story because he's so young and getting in, but yet he's so focused and poised. There's so many stories. I think what I'm enjoying about all the guests that I didn't know was going to happen. But they all have this similar theme. Every guest has a story, and I'm starting to realize, like, to be in that position there as a guest, you've done something, right? Okay, we get it.
Yeah.
But like, to get to that place, it takes a special person, in the perseverance and the stories of them. They're very similar in the sense of what they've sacrificed.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that, to be honest with you. Specifically, I wish it was on camera, but I do loved when Iam Tongi was playing ukulele to the kids before they went to bed.
Yeah.
That was pretty rad. And signed his guitar.
I mean, some of the after hangs.
Oh my gosh.
Houston.
Houston out back, dude.
That crew is so fun.
They kept pouring in.
They kept you up till they kept me and you up till midnight. But it was the best hang ever.
Man. Yeah,
dude,
our you know what else was it? That was a dude. Houston's like, dude, all your podcasts need to be out here. He's like, where's Troy, changing it up. Get your cameras this here. But I also enjoy having when you ask how many podcasts have you been on? They're like, this is my first.
This is my first.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying different guests saying, I've never said things that openly. I thank you for making me feel like I can say that. Yeah. So there's so many. I don't know. I can't. But I will say some of those fun little after parties have been nice. Iam's thing was nice. And just discovering my inner circle deeper is nice.
Exactly. Which leads into the last question.
Okay.
Do you like being a podcast host? Who are you hoping to and looking forward to have on the podcast in the future?
I am enjoying the podcast.
Yeah.
I am enjoying hosting now. It's getting to the point where the studio, whatever you want to call it, is dialed in. It's less work on that end. So things are becoming more comfortable.
Yes.
And the reward I'm getting at the end of every episode, I feel like it fuels me for the week, to be honest with you. It's giving me everything that I set out to do.
Cool.
100%. Now, since we've been curating guests, you and me, and just kind of keeping it moving, keeping it interesting. Yes, I do want to get certain guests coming up. I want to get Yellow Wolf. I want to get Jake. I want to get Hardy. And I have an idea for Morgan that I want to pose to him, which would be special. Like I said, this is the podcast ultimately, humbly, is my answer to my legacy. Maybe my legacy is in those things. The frame, the pictures to some people.
Yeah.
But, there is a lot of story to what I have. And if I didn't try to get it out in a way that was honest and natural, like I think this podcast is, and try to help and educate and just celebrate what this business has done for me. I don't know. It's definitely doing everything for me. So
amazing.
That was fun. That it?
That was the last question. I think we're on for an hour and some change.
Hour and 18. That was fun.
Yeah.
What?
Thank you everybody for asking questions and sending things in and actually caring. Because
thank you very much. And thank you for checking in with us once a week and dialing in this crazy little episode. It means the world to us. We're enjoying it. So we have no intention of slowing down. So stick along for the ride.
Here's the 25, my friend.
Yeah, brother.
25.
That's it. 25.
Awesome, dude.